Hello everyone, welcome to Zaxire Programming. My name is Mayur Garg and today we will be learning about TF-IDF vectorization. In this tutorial, we will learn what is the need of TF-IDF, the formula we can use to calculate TF-IDF, and a working example where we will be using that formula to calculate TF-IDF for a particular text data. In the follow-up video, we will be using Python's sklearn library to calculate the TF-IDF for us. So let's get started. So why do we even need TF-IDF? In many machine learning problems, the dataset may contain textual data. It can be anything such as summary or description of a document, a movie review, or a tweet. Since computers cannot directly comprehend text data, there is a need to encode this data into numbers. These numbers can be integers or decimals. The simplest way to encode any text is to divide it into a series of tokens. Each token can be a different character, a different word, or a different sentence. Once we get this series of tokens, we can assign a unique ID to each token. For example, consider this sentence. A boy is eating a chocolate. This sentence consists of 6 words. We can divide this sentence into a list of 6 words, such as here. This process is known as tokenization. Now we have got this list of words, we can assign a unique ID to each word. For example, we can assign 1 to A, 2 to boy, 3 to is, 4 to eating. Since A has already been assigned 1, we will reuse that, and 5 to chocolate. And now we get an encoded list of numbers that represent this original string. However, there's a problem with this encoding. For example, if you see, the word boy and eating do not have any mathematical relationship between them. However, the numbers that they are encoded into, 2 and 4, have a mathematical relationship such that 4 is twice of 2. It is not possible for computers to understand this difference. Hence, we need a much more robust way of encoding text data. Another way of encoding text data is to encode each number not by a unique ID, but by a number that represents the significance of that word in the text data. Since it is not possible to denote the significance of each word manually, the easiest way is to determine a word's importance by looking at its frequency in a single text data. For example, if there's a word that appears multiple times in a text data, we can deduce that that word must be more important or more relevant to that text compared to other words which appear less often. For example, in an example sentence, a boy is eating a chocolate, the word A appears twice. Hence, we can deduce that A must be twice be important than other words which only appear once. As you can easily see, there is still a problem with such an encoding. The problem is that important words such as boy, eating, and chocolate, which either denote a noun or a verb, are weighted much less compared to very commonly occurring words such as a, and, the, is, it, etc. These words appear much more often in a single text data as well as in a series of text data. Hence, they will be assigned a higher weightage if we go by this encoding. So we need an even better metric. Welcome to TF-IDF. TF-IDF stands for term frequency inverse document frequency. As you can see, it is made up of 2 words. Term frequency denotes the frequency of a particular token or a term in a single dataset, single text data. Inverse document frequency denotes the inverse of frequency of a particular term across all the text data. For example, if we have 10 text strings and we are looking for the significance of a word and, inverse document frequency, we will tell the inverse of how common that word is across all those 10 text data. The general formula for calculating TF-IDF is to calculate the term frequency, calculate the inverse document frequency, and multiply those. Term frequency can be defined as a function that takes 2 parameters. The first parameter t is the term for which we need to calculate the frequency for, and D represents the text data, a single text data in which this term T appears. IDF can also be defined as a function which takes two parameters. T, the term for which we need to calculate the TF-IDF value, and D represents the collection of text data in which we are calculating the TF-IDF value for a particular term T. IDF goes down the much more common a particular term T is common across the entire dataset. TF increases if a term T is more common in a single dataset. We will see how this works in the coming slides. TF-IDF can be implemented in multiple ways. There are multiple mathematical formulas to calculate TF-IDF. One of the easiest and quite effective formula is discussed here. This formula consists of two parts. The left portion is the formula to calculate the term frequency, and the right portion is to calculate the inverse document frequency for a particular term T in a document D in a collection of documents capital D. In term frequency, the numerator is basically the count of term T in a document D. For example, if we have a sentence such as a boy is eating a chocolate, and we need to calculate the TF-IDF for the word A, we can say that Ft of D equals to 2, since A appears 2 times in that sentence. The denominator of the term frequency is basically the number of tokens or the number of terms in the single data set that you are considering. In our example, a boy is eating a chocolate, this value will be equal to 6. In the inverse document frequency, the numerator, the capital N, denotes the number of documents in D. A document is basically any text data. So if we have a data set of 10 text strings, N will be equal to 10. The denominator N, T, D denotes the number of documents in which the term T appears. For example, if we have a data set of 10 tweets and there was a term and which appeared in 3 of the tweets out of 10, NT of D will be equal to 3 and capital N will be equal to 10. Then we take the log of this fraction and multiply it with term frequency to get the TF-IDF value. Before we proceed further, it will be better if we revise logarithmic values and how they are calculated. A logarithm is the inverse function of exponentiation. The log of a value x to the base b, a, it means that b when raised to the power a gives x. For example, if you have a log of number 16 to the base 2, which is equals to 4, then we can say that 2 when raised to the power 4 equals 16. This process is known as exponentiation. This process is known as logarithmic. There are two important identities associated with log values which are independent of base. Log of any product of two numbers is simply the log of individual numbers added together. Similarly, the log of fraction or division of two numbers is basically the log of the numerator minus the log of denominator. Now the question arises, in our implementation of TF-IDF, which base should we be using? There are 3 common bases used in different fields of science. The most common base is log to the base E. E here stands for Euler's number, which is mostly used in mathematics and physics. Log to the base 10 is mostly used in real-life applications such as engineering. Log to the base 2 is mostly used in computer science since 2 denotes binary. In our implementation, it does not matter which base do we use, since whichever base we can use, can easily convert to another base using this base change formula. This base change formula states that the log of x to the base b is simply the log of x to the base c multiplied by log of c to the base b. Using this formula, we can convert from any log to another by calculating this value and basically multiplying it. This means that the relative importance that we calculate for IDF values are only basically getting scaled up or down when we change the base, and this won't affect our effective relative values. Now the question is, why do we even need log and IDF calculation? Why cannot we just directly use the fraction that we have to calculate the IDF and then multiply it by term frequency? The reason for this is that in case of real life examples, it is possible that you have got a 1 million text data and there's a word or a particular term that appears only in one of those documents. Then this fraction n upon nt of d will be very large. This will mean that a word which only appears in one of the documents will have a very high weightage. To combat this, we use log n of t of d instead. Log grows more slowly as the number x increases. As you can see, the log of very small values up till here grows quickly, but as soon as the values get very large, they slows down. This helps us keeping this value under control. Now we are up to a working example. In this example, we have got three documents which are basically three text strings. The first string is a dog is playing with another dog, a dog is waving its tail, a cat is playing with a toy. We will be calculating the TF-IDF value for the first text data, for all of the words in that text data. We will be using log2 to the base 2 for all our calculations, but any other base will work just as fine. So let's get started. So this is our text data that we will be calculating TF-IDF values for. This has got a total of 7 words and a total of 6 unique words since the word dog is repeated twice. So we will put all 6 words in this column headings. Now we will calculate what is the frequency of that term in the string. Remember, this forms the numerator of our TF values. The word A appears only once in this entire string, so we have a frequency of 1. The word dog appears twice, so we have a frequency of 2. Is playing with another, all of them appear only once, so they have a frequency of 1. Now we will be calculating the relative frequency, which is also known as the term frequency or TF value. It is basically the frequency of term divided by the total number of terms. Since there are 7 total terms in this string, we have to just divide this frequency by 7. So we get 1 by 7, 2 by 7, 1 by 7, and so on. Now we go up to our IDF values. The numerator of IDF was the count of documents in which this term occurs. So this term A, so as we can see, if we go back to our original data set, we can see that A appears in all 3 of those documents. In this document it appears twice, but we are not concerned with it. We are concerned with in how many documents this appears. So we will write count of documents in which term appears equals to 3 for A. Similarly, if we go back, we can see that dog appears in 2 of those data points but not in third. So this value will be equal to 2. Similarly, we can calculate the count of documents for all other terms accordingly. This word another appears on only one of the documents in the first text, not in any other. So this value will be equal to 1. Now n, capital N equals to 3. Since we have 3 text data in our data set, so we will calculating this frequency where basically is 3 divided by n t of d. So basically 3 divided by 3 equals to 1. 3 divided by 2 equals to 3 by 2. 3 divided by 3 equals to 1. 3 divided by 2 equals to 3 by 2, and so on. Now we have calculated this ratio. We will now calculate the IDF value by basically taking the log value of it. Remember, we are using log2 here, but any other base will just work just as fine. You will just get different values, but the relative importance of each word will stay the same. Since here we are using log2, the log2 of 1 is equals to 0. Log of 3 by 2 equals to 0.58. Log of 1 again is 0. 3 by 2 is 0.58. 0.58. Log of 3 is 1.58. Now remember, this is our IDF value. This is our TF value. We basically multiply these together to get our final TF-IDF value. So 1 by 7 multiplied by 0 is 0. 2 by 7 multiplied by 0.58 is 0.16. Again 1 by 7 into 0 is 0. 1 by 7 to 0.58 is 0.08, and so on. As you can see, we have got the relative importance for each word in this document with respect to all other documents. As you can see, the very common words such as a and is have TF-IDF value of 0. This means that they are very less significant because they appear in all the documents. Important words such as dog, playing, with, and another, they have non-zero values. This means they have some relative importance. So this is how we calculate the TF-IDF value. We have calculated TF-IDF value for only one of the text data, but a similar approach can be used for other data points as well. Now we go to the pros and cons. The pros of TF-IDF include relatively easy to compute. As we can see, we can easily compute TF-IDF for any document. The most important feature of TF-IDF is that it can easily extract important words. As we have seen in our previous implementation, that the unimportant words such as a and is had a very low TF-IDF value, which was 0 here. So they were automatically eliminated. So if we had to identify which words were the most important, we can basically sort this by their TF-IDF values and get the most important word, which in this case would be another. The another importance of TF-IDF is that we can easily compare the similarity of two texts by comparing TF-IDF vectors. So in this case, we had 3 different data points. So what we can do is calculate the TF-IDF values for this data point and also this data point and compare those. If they are very similar, this means that these two documents are also very similar. This helps us get a very simple similarity index to compare two documents. The cons of TF-IDF includes that it generates a very large space matrix, which can be issue when the TF-IDF matrix has to be put into a machine learning algorithm as an input. It generates a very large matrix because it generates a column for every word that occurs in the dataset and a row for every data point. Another disadvantage of TF-IDF is that it is based on the bag of words modeling. A bag of words modeling basically means that we are extracting the unique words or different words that occur in a text data and not the order that they are in. For example, if we remember here, we just extracted that there are 6 unique words, but we were not concerned with the order they appeared in. They could have been any other order and the TF-IDF's value would have been unchanged. This means that TF-IDF cannot capture text semantics. For example, in this text, this dog is playing with another dog. These two dogs semantically refer to two different animals. This is one dog, which is the object, which is the subject of the sentence. This is another dog that the subject is playing with. However, in this TF-IDF, we have only one column which treats both of these dogs as the same. Hence, it is not possible to do advanced natural language processing just using TF-IDF. In the next video, we will be using sklearn library to calculate the TF-IDF or dataset programmatically. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thanks.